Sculpting on a bitten nail is extremely important in your nail career. You've got to know how to handle the situation when a client comes in and has bitten nails. We're going to take you through this process right now on Nail School.
So when it comes to bitten nails, it's really important to understand that acrylic is your best choice because you have to try to mold the problem nail into something that will eventually be perfect. It's kind of like putting a cast on a broken arm. It's really the only way that you're going to be able to reshape, remold, and get that nail to grow straight. Let me show you guys how to put a form on and sculpt successfully so that you guys can understand how to do this with ease. Let me show you guys how it's done. Okay, so we have a model that has the typical bitten nail situation. Okay, so what we have here is, again, we have a free edge that is bitten all the way back, and we have a lot of skin in the front that has been brought up. The good news is that her side walls are still straight, but you can see that she has a lot of basically, again, she has her hyponychium basically exposed because the nail has been bitten back enough. So what we want to be able to do is we need to get her cuticles back to expose a little bit more natural nail, which we're going to do. And once we're done pushing her cuticles back, we're going to prep the natural nail to remove all of this protein growth. As you guys can see, all that white protein, we need to remove that from the nail before we put our form on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a medium arbor band, and what I want to be able to do is lightly tickle away, just tickle away, tickle away the shine around that cuticle area. And as you can see, as I'm moving around, it's going to clean up really, really well. Once I'm done going around the perimeter of the nail, I'm going to use that same tickling motion, and I'm just going to feather away the shine diagonally. As you can see, I'm going to effectively get it away really, really fast. As you can see, I'm able to remove everything, not just effectively, but efficiently. I'm doing it in a really fast motion, which again is going to save me time in my prep. We're going to use swipe to clean away any of the oils, contaminants, and dust that are on the nail. Once we're done doing that, we're going to use protein bond and apply 2 coats on the surface. So I'm going to go through and apply 1 coat. Give that, again, when you're done doing all 10 fingers, you're going to go back and you're going to add 1 more coat. Ready to rock and roll. So what we want to do is we want to be able to cut a nail form to be able to fit the front end of her nail. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part of my form and I'm just going to cut a square edge right on the end of the sticker. And what we're going to do is we're going to place it right underneath the form, which is going to create a little bit of a shelf on the edge of my form. This is what you're going to lay across her skin, right, and up to the front of her nail so that it lays in flush to the natural nail. I'm going to go ahead and pinch my form. And what we're going to do is we're going to open it up from the back. And remember, I'm going to hold it right here to open it up. Okay? Now, you guys notice the very front. Watch this. I'm going to lay that platform right up to the edge of her natural nail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure the side just like this. Okay? Now, what you're going to notice when I pinch everything is that there is a little bit, again, of skin, right, exposed right here and right here. But that's okay. because the most important thing, again, is getting the form tight to the front. If I was to put a form on regular, the problem is because of the shape of her nail, these corners would be a little bit too high and product would actually seep into the corners. By actually customizing the nail form, what you're actually doing is you're creating a flat surface to basically put up to the edge, which is going to give you an opportunity to build your sidewalls straight onto the form. This is how you're going to successfully apply nail forms to someone who has a finger in this condition. I want to show you guys what happens when you try to put a form on the traditional way without cutting it. So I'm going to basically get it up to the front of the nail. And the problem is her nails are so square that when I actually try to secure the side, what it does is it leaves space. You can see how the form, right? It doesn't tuck underneath the corner. It's tight and flush here. The problem is it's bitten back so far that the form, when it rests on the finger, it creates this gap. You can see the tip of my brush getting stuck inside. So when I'm building the acrylic, I'm gonna have a hump right over this edge. This is going to be a little hitch, and it's going to create basically a weakness in the sculptured nail. That's why you have to be able to cut the form just like this so that you don't run into that problem. I'm going to use Cover Pink to sculpt the nail, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this into two parts. The first part is going to be to create a full well tip that's going to be built on her nail, right? So you can imagine when I actually create this tip, it's going to cover right around here. The second part is going to be the cuticle area and to actually achieve, right, the body and the upper arch. So what we want to be able to do is we need to get, again, we need to get a right size pearl. And when I set it to the center, I'm going to walk it all the way down to her corner, right, to create that full well tip, and then I'm going to balance the product out onto the free edge. And remember, we don't want to create a nail that is too long. We need to build something that is going to be active length so that we can get her natural nail to thrive. So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to build a medium size square nail. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, again, let this set, and then we're going to move on to the next finger and continue doing the same thing. We're going to allow this to dry, and then before it dries, we're going to pinch it into shape so that we can create a C curve. And what this is going to do, it's going to force her growth channels to grow straight instead of wide. Around the 3 or 4 minute mark, what you're going to do is you're going to get your magic wand and you're going to come in on the sides and you're going to pinch. And what this is going to do is it's going to put pressure right here at her edges, and it's going to force the nail to grow straight. This is really important when you're trying to remold the shape of her nail, so the shape of the nail grows straight, not wide. Now we're going to finish it off by finishing her cuticle area and sculpting in the upper arch and the body for the nail. I'm going to go ahead and set a nice wet pearl down around the cuticle area. Again, we're just going to allow the product to run down into place and then feather it through the body, making sure that we have a nice even application all the way through. If I need a little bit more product, I could always come in and add a small pearl to the very, very tip. And what this is going to do is just add it where I need it. Just going to use the body to make it nice and even from side to side. And we're done. I'm going to let that sit, file it into shape, and she'll have a nice sculpted nail. Okay, as you guys can see, I have finished it and put the stain resistant top coat on top. You can see how straight her sidewalls are. You're going to be able to see how she has a really, really nice C curve. I've sculpted a really nice shape, as you guys can see, dead straight. Again, taking it from this to this is going to make your clients super, super pumped. The key to Bitten nails is obviously going to be proper form application. Once you execute the form properly, it's a matter of breaking it down into two parts. First, create the tip. Pinch it so you can secure the shape, and then fill the back end to be able to establish the right body. Once you file and finish it, your customers are gonna be so stoked.